So nice to be here. How was yesterday's party? I heard it was pretty rough. Thanks for all the survivors that came here so early. Yeah, so this is the third speech in this crypto vertical, and I am very honored to introduce Martin Gauss, CEO of airBaltic. And for those who don't know, airBaltic is like very big in crypto, and they started accepting Bitcoin payments back in 2014. Can you please raise your hands? How many of you knew what is a Bitcoin in 2014? 1, 2. Oh, it's something like 5%, maybe 10. All right. I pretty much knew what a Bitcoin is about that time. And about a year ago, they went into the NFT space, launching their airBaltic City collection in OpenSea. And yeah, now there are big plans of launching like NFT-based loyalty club. So airBaltic is big in crypto. So yeah, my name is Krišs. I am from Gravity team, and we are a crypto trading company, so we know quite a few things about crypto. We're also a proud general partner of TechChill 2022. Really nice to finally do that. And we sort of represent the community, and it is very interesting and nice to see big companies like airBaltic, which is also very well known, and from a well-established industry to actually start adopting crypto and start doing it early. And in that sense, airBaltic is like a true trailblazer and a hero for a crypto community. Would you agree to that sort of statement?
I like it when we're called a hero, but we were definitely first, and we gained a lot of experience in the last 7 years doing it. We are not too loud about it because we are from this dinosaur industry airline, right? You wouldn't immediately see that it's crypto. But we did it 2014, and the story is the CFO, Vitols Yakovlevs, he said, should we do that? And I didn't really know what Bitcoin was at that time, I have to say. So we digged into it, we looked into it, and then we looked into can we do it? And we did it, because the company is in its DNA. airBaltic is one of the most innovative airlines in the world. We get awards for that. We did it, we accepted Bitcoin, later other currencies, and we gained experience. That's the biggest thing. And 1 year ago, with all that experience, the idea came up, how can we use the NFTs to go into the future and at the very end have maybe airline tickets being NFTs, right? But to get there, you need to start somewhere. So we are gaining experience. We have that experience. We want in Latvia, as we are from Latvia, to share it. That's why I'm here today. Our main business is to transport passengers. We need to get out of this crisis which hit our industry so hard. But one way to get out is also talk about the future. And the future is definitely Web 3.0, because we are selling something. And we have millions of customers, and these customers are loyal and they have loyalty programs. So the big target we have, and that's what we are now launching, a PFP collection of 10,000, is addressed to revolutionize a loyalty program where you're collecting points as an airline customer, but we want to do this, and we want to issue basically tokens. To do that, to learn what do we have to do? You cannot just do it today in this space. You have to go step by step. This morning we opened our Discord channel for that, so we need to learn that. We had to learn how to do that. So that's done. You have to set up your Twitter. You have to do all these things. Coming back to crypto, we are well established. We have transactions very regular, but it's so small that it's more learning about it, because the majority of our customers, of course, pay in different currencies. But the learning about it has helped us in the last 7 years to now take the next steps. And if we look at the airline industry, we're always ahead. We're the number one accepting it in the world of crypto. If you Google us, we are the number one having issued an NFT, and we'll be the number one in the metaverse, because that's where we all gonna end up when we do trading in the future.
Yeah, and maybe let's touch what is the motivation of being always the first, it's obviously involves some sort of risk. And back in the 2014, when you launched the crypto payment system, and also in last year when you launched your NFTs, like what's that drive? Does it make a sound business decision, or I don't know, does it make profit, or it's more like a PR move, or what is sort of the angle you're looking at it?
So first of all, we have as a management from a company, you always are responsible to your shareholders that what you do makes money. Yeah? If you make a loss, then you have to explain it. So when we do something in this space, we cannot do it if we can't show a business case that there is more money coming out than invested. Which means we sometimes have to go, as our core business is selling airline tickets, we have to say how can we use the existing funds which we have, for example in marketing, and then give something back to the customers which increases their attention to us. So that's a way. So PR helps. So if we have good PR, if people say that's something I want to do, I want to fly with the airline, we can use this. But what we cannot do, we cannot take especially in our case, the state's money and then risk it in crypto. So that's not possible. So therefore we always do it only with the tools we have available, and that's why we have to be innovative. We need to be first and see how it happens in a small scale before we go bigger. And that works in our company. It's in the DNA. It's the people. We sit here in Riga, Latvia. The talent is here much, much higher than in other parts of Europe.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, it is. I have to say that if you want to do something in this space, you want to be here in the Baltic states. You don't want to be in one of the more Western states. And we are, of course, attracting that talent to the company. Yeah? We have people who are dedicated in that and have the experience. And if you're now a normal company and you say, I want to go into this space, I would recommend you start slow, you test it before you go all in, and then you see and gain your experience before you burn a lot of money. And that's our approach. But now we have an experience. We issued the airBaltic City Light collection in OpenSea a year ago. That was marketing and PR. That's promoting Latvian cities, which actually helps because we get the people to fly to these cities. But what is coming out now is basically then already the product taking us into the future. And that's a more serious approach where we learned for 1 year what is happening in the NFT space. We have to defend ourselves all the time, maybe not here, but if you talk about crypto, immediately there comes the climate change, the sustainability. So also that part we have to be very careful, because as an airline you're always in the limelight of polluting the environment. So we take care and demonstrate that working in that space is reducing the complexity and reducing the cost and the impact to the environment. It's very difficult to do that. But if you today could issue a ticket, theoretically, which is an NFT with all the complexity about an airline ticket, if that would be possible today, we would significantly reduce the footprint on emissions.
I also just quickly realized that if you are the first one to adopt things, especially in crypto, it's all on the blockchain. You can always prove that you were the first one.
Yes.
It was really easy to sort of find airBaltic's city collection in the OpenSea, and you can see when it was first minted, and it is easy.
I own something on the blockchain very valuable. I minted my TechChill pass. So I minted it.
You did.
So I saw it. It's on OpenSea. And can you imagine in 20 years that you said you had one of the first NFTs and it was a TechChill entry pass?
Yes.
So whoever hasn't done it, you should do it, because it's pretty cool to own that. Yeah. There's no cost, and you have an NFT from 2022.
Yeah.
Watch that in 10 years' time.
So someone is selling the NFT in the OpenSea for 0.03 Ether. You just go grab it while it's still there. All right. I was wondering if you were a CEO of any industry, any other industry other than airlines, would you go the path of crypto anyway?
Definitely, I would go. If we look now, I'm in contact with other leaders in the world. For example, 2 weeks ago, I was with the CEO of Emirates Airlines and Etihad Airways. We had a conference. We were talking about what they want to do, and the Emirates CEO said to me, "Amazing what you guys in airBaltic do. We started last week setting up a metaverse team. The same with Etihad." Qantas Airline, there was a headline, the Australian flag carrier. They said, there's a headline, you can Google it, Qantas following airBaltic on NFTs. So I would recommend everybody in any industry to look what from that portfolio, cryptocurrencies, NFT, Web3, metaverse, whatever there is, to understand what for your industry, for your business could be in there for you. Because there is definitely something coming. If we look at the way how you verify things, how you prove ownership, which for any business will make sense, you need to identify what it is. But I would recommend to anybody to look in this space, and then these kind of conferences hopefully help.
Yeah, I wanted to touch a little bit how to transfer the experience and knowledge from airBaltic maybe to other startups here that might be thinking, should we do that, should we not? For example, if we start with like established companies, like something that has existed for 20 years, and how to approach the question of, okay, we want to have some sort of crypto exposure, we want to have some way of entry, like what is the thought process, how you start thinking about it and implementing that?
So in our company, it always comes from inside the company. So somebody has to have that initial idea or thought, and then you have to have the culture in a company that thought is listened to. You said, so I would say if somebody hasn't done anything, to gather the people who bring up the thought, and if it's the leader, then he should do it, and have a discussion. Just have a discussion, and from that discussion have an action point, what you're doing next. And it might be just that for 1 week you're all reading now the latest news on blockchain or on NFT or whatever, or you try to identify, do I have competitors in the world? Because everybody has somehow a competitor. And is any of these competitors doing something in that space? And just copy, because you can always copy from the best. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? So I would recommend, if you haven't done anything to any company, set up a group, and if you're a very small company, discuss it with your partner and say, what are we doing concrete this month to understand that? Because we did a survey with our frequent flyers. We have 600,000 frequent flyers who have this airBaltic club card. We sent to them a survey with 2 questions. 1, do you know what an NFT is? And 2nd, do you own an NFT? 14,000 responded, which is already a big number. The others didn't even respond. And 1% of the Latvian speakers, 1% knew what an NFT is. And 6% of the English speakers knew it. So basically, if you now start in your business, you might not have a single customer who knows about that. So you need to get the knowledge, you need to do the research before you can go in the space. Because if you accept Bitcoin, but none of your customers has Bitcoin, then will not help you.
Yeah.
Right?
There is a saying that 2 shoe salesmen went to a distant country and and then they come back with a report that there is no business over there. None of them are wearing shoes, and another one says there is tremendous opportunity of business because none of them have shoes.
Yes.
Yeah, and the same about NFTs. Like if you mentioned that in Latvia, like 1.8% know what an NFT is, do you see that as opportunity or as a sort of obstacle?
Yeah, we have a 75% of our revenues are generated outside Latvia. So Latvia is the biggest market, but our revenue is coming from outside, and therefore I'm looking at the 6%. If I look at, we have in a normal year, we have 5 million passengers climbing in the future again, then it's a big number for potential interaction. But what we want to do, and there will be more people every year, we want to be leading on the way of tokenizing the frequent flyer program, because that's the loyalty program. It's already a very big instrument we own, because when you are in an airline and you collect these points, you're identifying yourself. So our customers, we want to guide them on that way, and our target is to have a more valuable company by having the latest technology in that space. With the end target to hopefully have tickets in the future, airline tickets, which you can't, where you can prove that this is the owner of the ticket, this is how it's changed, and all these steps would be visible on the blockchain. That is today not possible. There's a couple of companies working on it, specialized companies, but that would really revolutionize the industry of tickets. In football stadiums you already have it, but an airline ticket is more complex. But as we can't do that, we're going to do these other steps, because then the doors will open and we will find a way of being leader also in that field.
Yeah, what would you say for maybe for a smaller startup? I know there is just a presentation ready, or maybe some prototype? Should you start tokenizing your product or your service like from day one, or you should build the client base and maybe start tokenization 2 years in the future? Like,
I mean, every business is different, but I saw outside there's a stand where they have these air purifiers, little ones, big ones. And I said earlier, so that would be, I would immediately go to that little company and I would take pictures of my stuff, which they do probably, and they sell it on the website. And on the side, I would say each serial number is going to be coming out in parallel as an NFT, just to gain the experience.
A digital clone.
Digital clone of it, and make a story around it. Set up your Twitter and use different channels, and you're learning. Right? It's not a big cost to do that today, but you will be learning a lot, and you get a complete different attention because you're not only selling the purifiers, you're also now in a digital world where you will be over time getting an experience you wouldn't have got if you wouldn't have done it. So it's PR, but it's also learning, and a lot in this, we all had to learn the internet somehow. We all will have to learn Web3 and whatever comes with it, and our future will be more simpler. But now at the beginning, I don't know who tried to set up a wallet and get some crypto on it and then buy something. If you do this the first time, you go cuckoo because it's so complicated today. That will become super easy, and there will be mass adoption of it. But now we're in these very early days, and that's why I would say try as a startup, as a small company, just try it. Don't burn money. Yeah, get experience, and then you will see, and you will take your decisions from what you learned.
Yeah, yeah. Couple of more questions. Our time is also going to an end. Do you have a crypto exposure, and if yes, then how it's going?
We do not have an exposure, as whatever crypto we take on is immediately changed. So if a customer pays, BitPay, the payment provider, is changing it into euros. We have the euros. So on our books, we have the euros. If the customer would want to change his ticket back, then it would be done in euros. So that's the deal if you pay in crypto. So we are not holding crypto apart from a very small amount for our NFTs, which we issued. These Ether are on the airBaltic wallet because they have been paid with crypto. But we do not hold Bitcoin on our balance sheet.
Is that like a deliberate decision? I think in BitPay you can sort of do it in settings, like do you sell it immediately or you just keep exposure? So that is a deliberate decision not to have exposure.
That's a decision which we discussed with our shareholders, which is today majority is the Latvian state. And the shareholders are today not ready that we take the risk of having cryptocurrency on the balance sheet. So therefore, that's a decision you have to take as a company. And the risk coming if we would have a significant amount of our money in Bitcoin, what if Bitcoin would go down? And that risk we can't take because this is not the money of the management, this is the money of the shareholder. And therefore we have to run the business according to the corporate governance. So the only way for us to do it today is exchange it immediately into euros, then we don't have that risk.
But you have currency risk.
The currency risks we have oil price risks, which is in double-digit millions, emission certificates, double-digit millions. We have all the risks, but the cryptocurrency risk today in Europe is seen as a very, very big risk, and therefore larger companies are having still issues. I hope it changes. I hope for legislation to come to make that easy and possible for companies, because it's the future. But still, airBaltic is still the #1 in the world doing it, but we had to find our way of doing it.
Yeah, you already touched one of my last questions about legislation. Do you have some ideas, like what should come? What is the obstacle that is maybe easiest to fix from the perspective of legislation that would benefit to airBaltic or to crypto startups, crypto companies?
A very clear legislation, so that it's clear how to account. That has to come from Europe, and they're working on it. But I think first it should be accepted that it is here and it is to stay, and it shouldn't be criminalized. If you read the media, the headlines, then whoever deals with crypto is somehow criminal. No, that's not. It's a future technology, and Europe has to ensure that blockchain technology and what comes with it has a legislation that companies have clarity what they are doing, and your accounting rules should be clear as a company. If you hold Bitcoin, Ether or whatever, that is how it's accounted. What do you have to pay in taxes if you sell an NFT? There's no rules yet. Yeah? This is all missing. Yeah. Europe is working on it, yeah? And Europe will come up with a framework. Exactly. I think the blockchain technology is supported by the EU. I saw a Dombrovskis document saying from the EU, we are going in this direction. So then it also needs a regulation, different regulations on how to deal with crypto. Hopefully one which is not making Europe again something where you cannot maneuver anymore and everything happens outside Europe. But I believe we are smart. We have smart people in Europe, and they will work together and bring legislation, but it is needed for all of us.
Yeah, definitely. Crypto is not going anywhere. It's not like after 5 years we will wake up and say it was all a mistake. It is not going to happen. Crypto is staying here, so the government and legislation should follow and accept that there is a new breed of economy available. And maybe for our time is up, maybe some last inspiring words to the crypto startups and future crypto startups that are sitting here. What to expect from the journey towards the blockchain and crypto?
So from our side, if you check out, I'm not doing advertising, but Plainy's NFT will come out. It's only 10,000 in the world. If everybody on TechChill would buy one, we would already have issues. So that's coming in June, and we are now starting to promote that. If you follow airBaltic, if you haven't done much there, I think it's interesting to see how we do that part. You can follow by just going on the Discord on Twitter, and it just started this week, and see our journey. And then there's in the Discord, you can even ask us questions. Our team will answer whatever question you have in the Discord, because that's what it's for. It's a community. So I think whoever wants to, just join Plainy's NFT, and then you'll find out a lot. You don't have to mint one. While I have to say it's going to be very, very economic or cheap to have one, but we will gain experience with you guys together.
Yeah, I would probably want to ask you a million more questions, but our time's up. And thank you so much for being on the same stage with me. It was an honor and pleasure. And what's happening now?
We get applause?
Yeah, please applause.